Okay, let's write our first script, but first of all, remember every time you run RStudio, you need to set a working directory. And now you have to define where you will keep all the code, all your data sets for this particular course. I keep all my code in Home, Documents, Code. So that's the folder I keep all my R code in. You can use any folder you want, but please remember where it is located. So I go to R. You can see the full path here, R document home, documents code R, and I'm going to create a new folder for this course. So I can keep all the code and data sets separately, applied statistics. Here we go, and then I open the folder. So this is my current open folder. It's not working directory yet. It's the folder I have just opened. Home documents code R applied statistics. To make it working directory, I have to click More and select Set as working directory. If you look at the console, you can see that actually when I click on this button, RStudio runs this R command setwd and then full path to this folder. But of course, clicking on the button is a little bit easier. So now it's time to create a script. You need to use this small button with plus. You can see there are many different things you can work with. We need a simplest one, our script. So this is our first script. It has no name yet. We need to save it in order to give it a name. But let's write some code first. So I start with a comment, create a vector with values from 1 to 10. And then x equal to 1 to 10. So I say generate a sequence from 1 to 10 and assign the sequence to variable x. Then I make an empty row and write another comment. Square values from x and assign them to y. So y equal to x head 2. So I square all values from x and assign them to y. Then finally I make a plot. Plot x, y. You can see, I mean, if I get back a little, so I just write plot and open a parenthesis, you can see that you can see there is a sort of a hint what the function does, what arguments it has, and so on. So it's like a small help message, which can be quite convenient. Plot xy. Now we need to run the code. So we have several possibilities. Either run line by line, run selected lines, and run all lines. So if you want run by line, select the line or just go click on the line you want to run and then click run. So you can see after that my global environment got the variable x, which is the sequence vector of values from 1 to 10. So then I click on the second line of code, run. I got y. Third line of code, run. I've got the plot. Okay. If you look at the console, you can see that actually every time I click run, RStudio copies the corresponding instruction to the console and then runs it in the console. It's like if I write these instructions directly in the console. Okay. Let's clear the global environment. So we remove all the variables from global environment. Now it's empty, and then let's clear the plot area as well. Now let's select only first two instructions where we create x and y, and we do not select the third instruction with plot. If we click run now, you can see that these selected lines have been copied to the console and ran. So we've got the values, the variables x and y, but we don't have plot because we didn't run this line. Okay. So alternatively, you can use some shortcuts. For example, Control-Enter or Command-Enter if you use Mac runs the code, and Control-A select all lines of the code. So Control-A, Control-Enter, or Command-A, Command-Enter on Mac runs all lines of the code. Now let's clear the environment again and the plot area and click on the console. You can clear the console using combination Control L on all systems. So I push Control L. Now the console is clear. Let's remove the selection and use the source button. So what happened? First of all, you can see that we have a command here, source, and then active RStudio document. Because we didn't save this document, it does not exist on the disk yet, so that's why this strange link. Then we got the variables and we got the plot. So it means that every time we click source, it runs all line of code in the current script, but it does not copy them directly to the console. So it's very convenient if you have many lines and you don't want to see all the lines in the console. Now let's save the script and give it a name. Let's call it first. You can see that RStudio by default opened your working directory as a default folder for a script. So click Save. Then you select the top files and see, indeed, you've got the first script in your current working folder.